It's the Joe Padula Show, Clarksville's conversation.
Absolutely. Election 2020 updates.
Uh-oh.
Following the Georgia footage of hidden ballots being counted, the Peach State governor now calls for a total audit of the votes. And did they also find out that over 60,000 ballots were casted by children under the age of 18?
So somebody passed that law where kids under the age of 18 can
No,
vote?
they didn't, babe.
But remember when they were talking about that?
I remember. Yeah, I forgot what the mainstream media is not telling you. Yeah, that's now on the Joe Padula Show. Absolutely. Make sure to hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, click like, leave your comments. The whole bit, we do appreciate it. And definitely share this video on your timeline. Because, for some reason, well, I know why Big Tech doesn't like this information being talked about. Because you just watch or look at where they make their donations to. That $400 million that Facebook made a donation to. All right. That's besides the point. All right. So we all saw the video yesterday. Right?
Yeah.
Out of Georgia. Here, let's take a look. If you've been living under a rock.
It looked like the table's here.
Yeah, it does look like the table's here, babe. That's very good.
So according to the witnesses, the Republican observers, there is a lady who has blonde braids who comes out to announce we're going to stop counting. Everyone go home. And in fact, we see that.
Oh, my bad.
What happens is everyone clears out, including the Republican observers and the press, but 4 people stay behind and continue counting and tabulating well into the night from that point, which is going to be about 10:25 when they all clear out, or 10:30. And they will continue counting unobserved, unsupervised, not in public view as your statute requires, until about 1 in the morning. The reason we know this is because when our Republican observers were forced to leave, they went to the Central Tabulation Center and they got word from a news crew that in fact counting had continued. They have information that not everybody left according to plan, and some people stayed behind. So this shocked them, so they returned back to State Farm Arena at about 1 o'clock in the morning, where they confirmed that in fact people had just left State Farm Arena in contravention of what they had been told by the supervisors who are running this operation. At about 8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to roll this back and show it to you. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table.
Look at the boxes. They start pulling from underneath the table.
The black one,
the Biden
boxes, was placed there.
Who knows?
By the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning.
Lady with the blonde braids, real quick, if you're out there, cut a deal now. Okay? All right? Cut a deal now. I'm telling you. Say something.
So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table.
Then it goes on to how these...
upper right hand. You see the gentleman in the red.
While,
so he just pulled.
While everyone was kicked out and just those select people in the wee hours in the morning were counting these ballots. And by the way, that security, that footage, that closed caption television right there, that security, a private security firm inside the Atlanta's State Farm Arena provided that surveillance video to the Trump campaign lawyers at 1 a.m. yesterday morning. Right. Somebody goes, here, take a look at this.
Could you even imagine getting that?
Unbelievable. But now because of that, and actually mainstream media felt like they were forced to start covering this now.
Well, yeah.
How could they not?
Well, how could they have not been covering all the other stuff that has been going on,
like
too?
Hunter Biden and everything else.
Right?
What? Who? What?
You're right.
My point.
Yeah, Facebook, we didn't say his name. I swear. Are we still up?
That's right, yeah.
Right.
Have they taken you down yet?
But because of this, the Georgia governor, Brian Kemp, all right, he noted that the video showing these, I don't like that they keep calling them suitcases. Those are bins. Those are bins. With of ballots being wheeled out from underneath the tables in the Fulton County election during election night after poll watchers were told to leave the location. And remember on Georgia, too, they said that there was a pipe bursting down the streets.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? And we had to stop counting because no such pipe bursting.
Really?
It was all BS.
You ain't got to stop counting because of pipe bust.
Right.
Yeah, like what does that have to do with anything?
Everybody out at pipe bursting. Never happened.
Question for you.
Yes.
If anybody will know this answer, it's you.
Maybe.
How many ballots do you think each of those bins can carry?
Probably, according to what I was watching with that attorney who sworn to affidavit, okay, who is and lawyer Wayne, maybe you can help out with this. She signs an affidavit under oath. What happens if she's caught lying?
The lawyer?
Yeah.
No, lawyers don't sign affidavits.
The witnesses.
Witnesses?
Yeah.
Yeah. If a witness signs an affidavit, then they're saying that it's true. And if it's proven that they intentionally lied, they could be found guilty of perjury or contempt of court, or both.
Penalty being
perjury depends on the type of perjury. In Tennessee, it would be either a Class A misdemeanor or a Class D felony.
All right, but nonetheless, so they're saying in those ballots, in those boxes there, could be tens of thousands.
in each bin.
No, total.
Okay.
In total underneath that table.
Wow.
Right. Which, by the way, that's just one place.
Right.
That's just Fulton County. Okay?
Wow.
Who knows how many other tables? So I'm sure people are, because that was one of our questions right after the election. Why is there no surveillance of what's going on in counting?
Right.
Should be.
So
Should be mandatory.
I think there should be like GoPros on everyone's heads.
Heck yeah.
Okay. Oh, you want to be a ballot counter? Sure.
Here's
Put
your
your mask
GoPro.
on. Sure. Put this GoPro on.
For sure.
Right. But nonetheless, so now the governor is calling for a full audit. Here's the difference between a recount and an audit. An audit is now you take the ballots. You got all the ballots, and you got a ballot counter sitting. Now, next to the ballot counter is someone representing the Democrat Party and a representative from the GOP, the Republican Party. And now they look at each one where now matching signatures will have to match the ballot casted.
Why is this not what's done in the first place?
Because people want room for error so they can cheat.
Thank
There,
you.
I said it.
And you said it right.
It's the truth.
People want wiggle room so they could be like, not your vote.
No, when it comes to stuff like that, it should be no room for error.
Oh, I hear you.
That's crazy that's not just the standard practice.
Especially with these Dominion voting machines that we keep hearing about.
We shouldn't even have them in the first place.
All right? I mean, how can anything be involved in our election that is a company that is not even from this state, from this great
They
nation
send
of
them out
ours?
to other countries to count our ballots.
Yeah, we're looking into that. Germany and Barcelona. But take a look at this, if you will. All right, check this out. So, with all this going on, potentially. All right, come on, baby. Where are you? Screw it, I'll just read it. Oh.
Is it working?
Come on. You know what it is? I didn't restart the computer.
Uh-oh.
There it is. That's what I want. From Georgia.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Okay? This is what's being
Felons can't
alleged.
vote.
Okay? This is what the lawsuits are saying that they found and now going to present to a higher court. 2,056 felons illegally voted. 66,248 under 18 voted. 2,423 weren't registered at all. 1,043 used a P.O. box. 4,926 voted past the regulation date. 10,315 died before the election. 395 voted in 2 states. 15,700 moved out of state. 40,279 changed county and didn't re-register to vote, which makes their vote void.
Wow.
So
With those numbers, he wins Georgia, yeah?
Oh, guaranteed. He's down by, according to the current count, he's down in Georgia by what? 15,000?
Current count, they're still counting, right?
Well, they're going to be recounting. Unreal.
No, it's real.
No, you babe, that's the thing. It's real. And Nevada. Look at this, what's being reported out in Nevada. All right? 2,468 votes by voters that legally changed their address to another state or county. Most of that, the state and county, was Arizona. Yes, approximately 42,000 voters who voted twice in Nevada.
42,000?
This is what the allegations are, that they're saying they have the proof that they need to present in front of court.
Wow.
Approximately 1,500 voters listed as deceased by the SSA, Social Security. Now, almost 20,000 Nevada voters with a non-Nevada mailing address.
How does that even happen?
Wiggle room.
Yeah, I got to get that wiggle room in there.
And approximately 6,000 United States Postal Service flags on vacant addresses, which means no home here. Same thing's happening in Michigan, in Detroit, where they're finding thousands of ballots coming from, one was a psych ward, okay, a condemned psych ward.
Seriously?
This is all what these legal teams have been putting together for these last couple of weeks.
Wow.
And this week has been just a release of information. Here, let's take a look at this video.
42,000 blows my mind.
Here's what you missed this week if you just watch mainstream media.
This evidence demonstrates, and it's through eyewitness testimony that's been corroborated by others through their eyewitness statements, that 130,000 to 280,000 completed ballots for the 2020 general election were shipped from Bethpage, New York to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, where those ballots and the trailer in which they were shipped disappeared.
That guy sitting right there, that's the truck driver who raised his right hand to make an oath and sign that affidavit saying, I picked up this trailer from New York with ballots and was told to drive it to Pennsylvania and drop it off. And then when I dropped it off, my trailer was gone.
I also want to point something out on that.
Yes.
With these electronic log mandates, they'll be able to prove where that trailer went because it'll all be caught on the ELDs.
Yep.
Okay. ELDs.
The electronic logs, drivers can only drive a certain amount of hours before they have to pull over and take a break or they're outside of the regulation. I know because I sold them. So if he drove that trailer, there is a digital record of every single moment that that truck was running and where we're in.
And then they got them truck stops on the interstate to weigh, all that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Disappeared.
Not one of the military ballots was a registered voter.
Michigan.
And the ballots looked like they were all exactly the same Xerox copies of the ballot. They were all for Biden across the board. There wasn't a single Trump vote.
Ballots looking like Xerox copies.
The thing is,
Without a single Trump vote.
ain't none of them trying to go to jail. The people that signed the affidavit.
Let me tell you.
The voters are right.
She would not do very good in jail, this woman, I am guessing.
I'm guessing you are right.
Okay.
Registered. They had to manually enter the names and addresses and a birth date of 1/1/2020, which would override the system and allow them to enter non-registered voters.
I am an unaffiliated
Sound like a cell phone.
Michigan voter who was trained by the GOP to be a poll challenger on Wednesday, November 4th, beginning in the late morning until around 8 p.m. because I was told that they needed.
He does look like Yanni. Right?
I thought the dude
Or
that
Kenny
played
G.
Yeah.
Kenny G, that's it. Kenny G,
I was
yes.
about to say
Nice.
the clarinet.
Yeah, very good passer.
The trumpet player knows, yeah.
They were understaffed. I witnessed the room erupt in thunderous applause and derogatory cheering as Republican poll workers were picked off one by one and ejected from the room repeatedly.
Why would Republican ballot watchers be removed, but not one Democrat?
Wiggle room.
Wiggle
By
room.
police escort throughout the day. By the end of the day, they had picked off so many GOP poll workers that there were probably only a few dozen left to monitor all of the processing stations in the room, which I'm told was between 130 and 160.
At about 8 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah, we
we're
saw
going to roll
this
this
one.
back and show it to you. By same person who's staying behind stop count at 8:22 in the morning with no witness. how many ballots
Adjudication table. I was a poll challenger at the TCF Center on Monday,
This is, again, Michigan.
November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. On November 4th, early in the morning, I was standing at the adjudication table, and a ballot came across the screen. The ballot had a straight party ticket vote for both the Democrat and the Republican. It was a filled-in circle, which is an intentional mark. It's not a dash, it's not a dot. When the ballot came across the screen, there was no other marks. None of the judges and none of the other ballot proposals had been voted on. The poll worker then said, I think I'm going to give it to the Democrats. That's absolutely absurd. That is illegal. The vote should have been tossed out. At that moment, I said, absolutely not. I'm going to challenge this. So I go get her supervisor. And then her supervisor defers to her and says, well, what do you think? And I'm like, well, what do you think?
No.
It doesn't matter what you think. It's the law. Our feelings, our emotions, our thoughts are totally irrelevant. You follow the law.
I like her.
And I simply
I like her
asked
a
the
lot.
Oh, yeah, she's good.
question. I said, well, why not give it to the Republicans instead of the Democrats? The gentleman began screaming at me, began yelling at me, began telling me that I had no right to talk to her, and he told her to push the ballot through. And prior to that, that same poll worker, a ballot came across the adjudication screen where this voter had voted for Joe Biden and the Green Party presidential candidate. And she gave the vote to Joe Biden.
Oh, man.
I also saw
Oh, she's not done.
the ballots show up in the middle of the night. Also, I inquired about the tabulation numbers from the tabulation machine between shift changes. I was denied that information. We saw a lot of irregular things. This is not an anomaly.
Now, you got to understand, these individuals that are speaking in front of state legislators. Do you know why? Lawyer Wayne, I think you know why.
Why?
Because
Why?
if they do not, when it goes to the Electoral College, and the Electoral College do not vote the way that it has been, quote-unquote, certified, the Electoral College members, they pick where their votes go to, which candidates.
I'm just saying the numbers.
Oh, I love her.
Her?
Pastor, have you seen her
They're
yet?
not off.
Karen?
No. Her name is,
Off by
I forget.
30,000
He
votes.
said her, and I looked at that. I was like,
So
what?
know what
are you
I
saying
saw.
that they're-
Oh, here, listen to her. She's my favorite. I think her name is Melissa, actually.
Really? She
Yep.
reminds me of Bethany.
Hey, check this out.
Information. We saw a lot of irregular things. This is not an anomaly.
I'm just saying the numbers are not off by 30,000 votes. So
I know.
She's contracted by Dominion Voting Machine.
And she signed
Really?
up.
Right, and she's like, I got to say something.
Good for
What I
her.
saying
saw.
that they're filling in.
I know what I saw, and I signed something saying that if I'm wrong, I can go to prison. Did you?
No one has found any evidence whatsoever of any of your wrongdoing. And why should we not believe the reported attempts of you to try to seek a pardon from the president?
I will ask that he be disciplined for that. That is a defamation of my professional character.
As I said
reported.
Just for the
Giuliani,
record,
let me
just
ask
for the
the
record,
question.
we haven't lost 39 cases. We've only brought 3. So you're wrong about that. Second, the reason why people are reaching those conclusions is because, like you, they don't have the discipline, maybe the intelligence, I don't know, to read through this. You can't tell me there's no evidence when I have a couple of thousand affidavits from people. You can't tell me that your credibility is better than the credibility of those people. You didn't.
They were all in sequence. These are absentee ballots, mail-in ballots. They cannot be in sequence. 222 cannot have 2233 next to it, because if they're mailed in, they come in all different numbers. And when I started noticing that these numbers are almost next to each other, like one or the other was in the middle, but then they were almost next to each other, my antennas went up. That's exactly when I thought something is not right here. Then I asked the supervisor. There was not even a date on those envelopes. It said November.
It's the Joe Padula Show. Bada bing. Clarksville's conversation.